Ooh. You get straight.
What's up, Yang Gang that's not watching yet, but will be?
What's up, Yang Gang? We are live here at the Currier Museum of Art in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Manchesterton,
Oh
Fieldville.
Let's see some thumbs up on this thing already. I see some people starting to get here.
Somebody's totally switched lanyards. Mine didn't used to do this right here.
Is it all twisty?
Yeah.
Twisty and bendy.
Where is this twisted?
We had to have our official media badges. Because
That looks fancy.
this event is official, y'all.
Yeah.
Official.
You can read it later. Pause it and read it later.
We are live at the Museum of Art, Currier Museum of Art. Let me get this turned around.
But anyway, I made these. Okay, go ahead.
Can you stop crowing for a second? God. The only time Mama Yang Gang talks is when she wants to crow about something.
Yeah.
She made these.
I made
Jeez. She did a great job too.
This is
Official.
the first time we got treated like official media.
Yeah,
by the
this is
way.
actually, yeah.
We got our
It's
own
only because
separate
Conrad's not
entrance.
here. I'm just kidding. We love Conrad. Shout out to Conrad. He works very, very hard for the advanced team for Andrew Yang. Shout out to him. Peter Parker himself.
Yep. Keep those spiders away from him. Turn into Spider-Man.
Oh, somebody said the way your wife looks at you is endearing.
Oh.
I see daggers sometimes, y'all.
It's really just daggers. I'm just kidding.
Listen, if you are, I see that there's 23 people on here. Make sure you are tweeting it out. Make
And
sure
thumbing
you're getting
it up.
and thumbing it up for sure. Let's get some eyeballs on this. Oh man, this place is quite gorgeous. I know that y'all can't see much of it in here. I'll turn this around just so you can see what you can see. Yes, we are at the museum.
They're not letting anyone in currently.
No, people are lining up outside though. People are lining up. We got and they looked at us and they were like, "Oh, you're media?" I was like, "Yeah, we're media." And they were like, "You need to go around to the media entrance." So we walked all the way around the building to the media entrance, and they had to like check our bags and all this. This is official here.
So I don't know if they do that. I don't know if they do the whole security checking the bags thing for everyone. I feel like it's just maybe just the media because we get in early.
I don't know. Yeah, probably.
I've never been to a Yang event where they've checked anything, so I don't
Oh
know.
my gosh, y'all. On the way here, right? So we're leaving the last event and we get to we're like, why the hell they got the streets blocked off right here?
Everywhere.
And so we're like trying to reroute ourselves. And we get down to the next entrance and we're stopped at the stoplight and Trump's Motorcade is going right in front of us. And we tweeted it out if y'all saw it on Twitter. Their motorcade went right in front of us, and they went the same way because we're having the event in the same town. Mm-hmm. So we literally followed Donald Trump's motorcade all the way down here to Manchester.
It was so aggravating on the interstate. They had a new cop car come up every 5 minutes.
It's
from
crazy.
the back of the line all the way back to the front. So everybody had to move.
Every exit there was a new cop coming in and getting into the motorcade thing. And they had like every overpass that we passed, they had cop cars sitting up there.
They had it blocked off
So-
until it passed.
Until it passed. It's so nuts to see like the security level like that they got to go through anytime that Trump travels somewhere, or anytime a president travels somewhere for that matter.
Yeah.
And that'll be Andrew Yang next year, y'all.
I know.
Already? Dropping keys and everything.
Who's excited?
Trump wanted to do a rally in New Hampshire because all the Democrats are here, and he wanted to steal the thunder. And listen, y'all say what you want to about Trump. That man draws a crowd. There were people camped out last night waiting to get into that
rally
that thing.
Yeah.
And he didn't lose by much in New Hampshire, I don't believe.
I thought you said he won New
I
Hampshire.
thought he did too, but then I heard I don't think
He didn't.
I don't think he did. Somebody correct me if that's wrong. But hey, he draws a crowd, man. He's already got his base solidified, and we're over here on the Yangercrat side, fractured like Game of Thrones, man. It's like dog eat dog right now, and we got these front runners, the Lannisters and the
Baratheons.
The Baratheons, and they're just slaughtering everybody right now. So hopefully that the Starks we can solidify down here in New Hampshire country. We the North, y'all. We the North. Let's go New Hampshire. We gotta have y'all. Y'all gotta get out and vote.
Yeah.
Gotta get out and vote. Listen, I will take you to the polls myself. Just let me know where you're at in New Hampshire. If you need help getting there, I will come and get you, and I will take you to the polls. As long as you're voting for Andrew Yang.
Because that's what's important.
It's important. That's what's
Yeah.
important to us. The North remembers. That's right. We the North, baby. And we're gonna take this tomorrow. I'm gonna try to bring y'all. I want to find somebody that's not registered to vote, and I want to find them, and I want to pick them up, and I want to take them to vote for Andrew Yang tomorrow, because you can do that in New Hampshire. New Hampshire is such a great state when it comes to the elections. It's really, really cool. You can go that same day and just sign your little thing, and good to go.
We'll
So
get y'all
yes,
that link.
make sure y'all thumb it up, tweet it out. If y'all tweet it out and we get some people on here, I'll dance. I'll dance for y'all.
There is the link.
There's
to
the Act Blue
donate
link. And
to
thank
the
you,
campaign.
Julie. Shout outs to Julie, who donated $1,000 through our Act Blue link to Andrew's campaign. Thank you so much. That means the world. Because we want to let Andrew know that the grassroots Yang Gang family has got his back. We've always had his back. We've always tried to be his protection while he's up here. We try to be everything that we can be for this campaign. So if y'all can donate, if you haven't, we're trying to reach the goal, $2 million. Come on, y'all, we got to donate.
get it.
And if you're going to donate anyway, you might as well donate through our Act Blue link. That way it shows up. Hey, look.
Demonetized, but at least it's all night long.
That's right, demonetized.
And yes, we are in Manchester. And it's
That's
time
that
to
jank.
dance again. I was looking at these rocks behind me to see if I could stand on them and be a little taller.
And camouflage.
I don't even know.
Y'all never know what y'all gonna see on this channel. Probably just a whole lot of
Trying to figure out how to
goofiness.
get taller.
I mean, I can like tilt the camera if I need to.
I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like I'm like this big. Okay, that's better.
Look,
Now
this
y'all
is how
can
we're
see
gonna
me.
do it. So, if y'all see our Act Blue link and y'all are gonna donate to Andrew anyway, you might as well donate to our Act Blue link.
Yes.
Is this? How is this, y'all?
Thank you. I don't have
Thank
any
you, Mel.
contacts.
Thank you,
No,
Mel.
okay. I don't
Very,
have
very
contacts
much.
and I can't see
We
you.
appreciate
Sorry.
that. But first and foremost,
Yeah.
we want you to donate
Yes.
to Andrew Yang's
And
campaign.
if you have $1 left over,
We'll take the dollar.
yeah.
I promise. We will take the dollar and we will put it to good use. It helps
you
us
really
get
don't
to
have
all
to
these
leave the
events.
camera like this.
That's such a boo. My bad.
Did you just say that in
Yes.
the live stream? See, now you went way back up too high again.
I mean,
Okay, it's fine. As long as y'all can see me, it's fine.
eh.
It's fine.
Look, she hates it every time I start dancing because she knows that this is live and that there's no takebacks.
'Cause I'm the video editor and I can't edit it out because
She's
it's
got no
live.
control right now.
It's
But
terrifying.
hey, this is where I get to shine, though. You know what I'm saying?
And if I make like a really terrible face, then
Rachel Herrera,
thank you.
Rachel has been here for so long, y'all. She has been here since. Oh, I'm gonna turn this around. Look at all the people. Oh, that's my jam. What?
Everything's your jam.
It is.
weeks since you got over this little cold. Your voice is still messed up.
I'm a little hoarse.
Nay.
Like, what kind of joke is that? Anyway,
It was very punny.
I think we're going to shock the world tomorrow. I think New Hampshire is going to show out for Andrew Yang Gang. I believe it. I'm telling you, y'all, we have been working so hard in the Granite State, and I think it's going to pay off. Y'all have been watching these streams right along with us, and y'all have seen the amount of Yang curious people. It's been 90-10. It's been, especially the past week. It's been 90-10.
We're getting interested.
10% Yang Gang, y'all. I am literally the only one shouting out, "Make America think harder!" at the end. Y'all hear me? That's crazy. Yeah, that caucus is shit.
Totally.
Caca de Toro.
Did you see that Pete Buttigieg and Bernie Sanders called for a, what's it called?
A canvas.
A recanvass, yeah. They want them to redo the counts again. So we'll never have results for Iowa, and we don't care.
There ain't no way they played that whole song.
No, they didn't. Did they?
No. They played like...
This is like, I swear this is a pre-recorded thing that they play before every Yang event. It's the same songs. It's always the same.
Yeah, it is. But it's cool because I dig 70s music. Classic rock.
So does Andrew, apparently.
I guess so. I wish they would play...
hungry.
I wish they would...
My stomach just growled. I said, feed me. Don't mind us. We don't know what we're
Mama
doing.
Yang Gang is always hungry. There's not a time when she's not hungry, yo.
When I eat a lot at one time,
Look,
then I'm
I'm gonna turn this camera around for a second. Look. Say hi to the Yang Gang.
Hi, Yang Gang.
Y'all know this is Daniel from American Jobs Factory.
Gang.
Yeah. It's been a long time since we've actually done. It's been since Detroit, right? Or did we see you after that? We saw you.
I don't
New
remember.
York.
New York, probably.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. UBI March.
UBI March.
UBI
yeah.
March.
Had to go to that.
Talk to the grassroots Yang Gang family for just a second and tell them whatever you want to tell them.
So I took some time off, because you can only follow Yang around so much.
He's a
before-
busy man.
Yeah, he's a machine. When the people claim that it could be a robot, I have a hard time disputing that.
We do too, brother.
He's like every, events, and I can't keep up. So I took some time off, and now I'm back on the road to do it again. So
You gonna be heading to South Carolina, Nevada?
I'm gonna go to Nevada, to Vegas, and after this, and then South Carolina. So I'm gonna go everywhere.
So when you go to Vegas, we want lots of stories, pictures, anything that we can use on our YouTube channel would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah.
Don't leave it in
For
Still
sure.
have
Vegas.
it. There's a good Yang Gang there. I still have footage from last time in Vegas to edit, cut up.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Editing
be
takes
after
forever.
the fact, the editing thing. Anybody wants to edit free of charge, please contact American Jobs Factory
Right,
And
we're
then
and
contact us
Grassroots
next.
Gang Gang and
and who, and
That's
any
not
other
Self and
channel.
Politics and no.
It's the
Yeah.
most time-consuming part
I
of
know.
doing videos. That
So-
editing.
So we're trying to reach the $2 million goal. Tell the Yang Gang to donate.
Donate right
Donate.
now. Get off your butts. Donate. I know, it's a long time running, and a lot of people got discouraged over Iowa and everything like that. But if we show the money, it can still happen. So you gotta show me the money. Go ahead and
It's all about the money.
go ahead and donate. I mean, it's whoever can run the race the longest, so that sustains the
gonna
game.
take money.
So
It's gonna
he
take
could,
money.
He could still beat out everybody else by just having the fuel. Everybody else could poop out, not having the funding.
Could you
so-
imagine
Yeah.
if he had just a little bit of Bloomberg's money? with as much as
Just
he's
11.
on the ground.
Yeah,
As
come
much
on,
as he's
Elon,
getting-
where are you?
Elon.
Help us out here.
Come on, Elon.
Aren't you watching, Elon?
I sent an email to Mark Cuban, no response. What's going on, Mark Cuban? Come on.
For sure. Well, listen, brother, we appreciate it.
No
Thank
problem.
you so much.
You gonna set up over on this side?
Hey, heavy, Hank.
He threw stuff. I don't know
I'm
why.
throwing
He got
my
excited
keys.
and stuff
I
was
got
flying everywhere.
My fob's busted now.
I believe you broke it.
It's all right. Hopefully it still works. I might have it on backwards. But it'll
Oh
be
my
all right.
God.
Gang, y'all got to donate. Y'all got to donate. Make sure you tweet this link out. Get the link out there. The more eyeballs that we have on this, the more that we can raise for Andrew Yang.
Oh, CRT is here. CRT can share the
We have raised well over $1,000 today. Thank you, Yang Gang.
Thanks.
If you're going to donate to Andrew Yang, anyway, donate through our @Blue Link account. @Blue Link account. I say it wrong every time.
at Blue Link account.
I keep saying @Blue Link account
Just
because it's a link. It's an @Blue Link.
and then
it's
you
our
and then you
account.
just add account.
I don't know.
So basically,
My
what
bad.
it is a campaign donation link, and it just has this little number at the end, or whatever, your name at the end, that shows the campaign where it came from, basically. So then the campaign will know that the viewers of this channel donated a certain amount. So we're trying to personally, with this channel, raise 5,000. That's the goal for us. And we got to get to the 2 million. So.
For sure. And like I was saying, Yang, we lost money doing these live streams yesterday. We did. But it's not about us at this point in time.
We're gonna be
like,
donating
we
games
literally,
anyways.
we literally have to do everything we can, no matter what it is. If it's sacrificing the gas money to cover these events, because there's not number one, because it is such a disparity now as far as Yang Gang and Gang Curious. Yang needs us at these events.
Really?
He really needs us at these events because we're the
like
ones.
the-
We're the Energizer Bunny, man. We're the ones that's getting the crowd energized. We're the ones shouting. I'm telling you.
When people don't clap when they're supposed to, we clap first. Guess what everybody else does?
Everybody else claps and follows suit.
Yep.
And then by
Also-
y'all see what happens at the end of these events. Everybody's excited.
Yep. Also, I was going to say, it is so much easier or so much better. I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Easier to yang people when they've already heard Andrew speak. You know what I mean? Like if you go and talk to some stranger at a store, which we do all the time, wherever we go, we're talking to strangers. If they don't know who he is and they've never heard him speak, it's a little harder to convince them. I mean, we're still good at that anyways. We've been doing it for a year now, so yanging people. So we've gotten good at it. But I'm just saying, people that have seen him speak, they're right there on that edge. All you gotta do is give them a little push.
Look, the crazy thing is we know it's ready here because it was tax time last year.
We decided
That
to leave the workforce.
We talked it over and like we were thinking, man, if we're gonna do it, it's gonna have to be now.
Yeah,
It's
so
gonna have to be while we got this little bit of money and
Our
we-
taxes came later though, so it's almost a year.
And we started funding our trips to these events and stuff and started bringing y'all live streams back when there wasn't nobody. Somebody donated the tripod that we're using today.
Yep.
Dolores.
Thank you, Dolores, if you're watching.
We're still using this tripod.
Yep.
It is literally falling apart.
Yep.
We've been
We've
using
used
it
it so
since
much.
so many miles.
Yep.
It's falling apart. And we're still using it. Man, look, y'all, we got anything that you can sacrifice. If you don't have any money that you can donate to Andrew Yang, you're asking phone bank. You can text bank. Don't tell me you can't do nothing.
And
That is not acceptable.
nothing.
That is not acceptable.
Yeah, doing nothing is unacceptable.
Man, I have sacrificed so much to follow this campaign and to try to help get us to where we're at. And if you tell me that you can't do nothing, I'm going to call you a dog-faced pony soldier. That's what I'm going to call you. A
Wait, you
dog,
said the lion dog.
lying dog-faced pony soldier that you are.
Did y'all hear that?
I'm
Joe
sorry,
Biden.
man. We gotta
Joe
have it,
Biden.
Yang Gang. If there's something more that you can do and you ain't doing it, man, shame on you.
Now is the time. It is crunch time.
Man, you should have already been doing it.
Yes, of course. Calm down. Calm down.
I'm calm. I just want to try to get people fired up and motivated,
fired
man,
up.
because it is time. It's go time, y'all. It's past go time.
time.
We
to
got
do it.
no more time to waste, man. Ugh.
Hey.
Aggravating is all together.
He's over here ranting like normal.
I'm gonna say hi. So
Say hi.
That way I don't have to rant anymore.
How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm just telling the Yang Gang that we gotta donate, man. We gotta donate. We gotta get these funds up, no matter what it takes. You don't have money, donate your time. You can always donate your time.
If you don't have
Canvassing,
time,
phone
then you're
banking,
working
text
all the time.
banking.
Right?
If you're working all the time, your co-workers better know exactly who you represent. That's all I'm gonna say. And I'm gonna get off my soapbox. I'm gonna go stand over here in the yucca bush.
I'm not sure what's happening around me.
How's the little Yang Gang?
He's good. He's good. Oh my gosh, Yang Gang, did y'all see that we made it into the Naruto anime opening
I'll show
that
you
they
the
did?
picture.
It's so
Yeah.
crazy, dude.
We dragged
We've been
Naruto
the
Yang Gang
grassroots Yang
yesterday.
Gang has been
He
animated.
was not happy.
It's
Let me show you the
dope.
picture.
If y'all
Where
haven't
can I
seen
find
this
this?
already, that's
Look at that. There we are.
Oh my
It was
god.
when there's credits in the way, so I just took a screenshot of the video. We're anime characters.
Who made this?
it's
Jonathan?
I can't remember. It's Humanity or something.
I'll look it up.
Anyway, they made a Naruto opening, and like they did the
With like
it's
Yang
beautiful.
Gang and Andrew and Evelyn.
Yeah. It's definitely super cool to be animated Yang Gang.
Let me find it real quick.
I mean, I've always wanted to be in a cartoon. I'm not gonna lie.
You want the picture again? Oh, it was Make America Think Harder. That's who made it.
Yeah, show the picture.
Yeah, let me pull it up for you.
But man, dude, to be in a cartoon opening, an anime opening, man, that's like a dream come true.
Right?
That's crazy.
Where's the little Yang Gang?
I always wanted to be in Naruto.
He's
I
got
always
his
felt
mouth
like
open. I think he was
I
yawning.
always
in
felt
that
like I had a little Naruto in me.
picture. They turned
know?
him into a...
Nine-tailed fox.
Got it? Do I need to hold still?
She's showing the camera.
Not great. Y'all want to see it again?
Yang Yang. If
My
y'all can
favorite.
donate, the ActBlue link is in the description. Metalheads for Yang or CRT, one of our moderators will put it in the chat. Donate through the link. Let's raise some money for Andrew Yang. Let's get this
Let's
final
do it.
push, man. Let's get this final push,
My
y'all.
favorite thing to do.
What? Oh gosh, y'all. She likes to go down the rabbit hole. And it just,
It's so cool.
It is
See,
kinda
you
cool.
can't even stop watching it because it's so cool.
I know, it just keeps showing more and more and more and more. It's nuts. It's like the Twilight Zone. Okay, stop before I get vertigo. I'm get
Look,
sick.
look. Oh, it went away. That's awesome.
How are you guys feeling? Tomorrow is the primary. How are you guys feeling?
We're excited.
Tomorrow is the primary. If y'all are in New Hampshire and you need a ride, I promise you, I will come and pick you up and I will take you to wherever your polling place is. If I got to drive 2 hours to come get you, I will come and get you.
If you're in
So that you
Massachusetts
can cast that vote for
and you're
Andrew Yang.
moving to New Hampshire, we'll come pick you up so you can move to New Hampshire.
If you are,
I'm kidding. I don't think
you know,
we can do that.
I know a lot of homeless people who have phones and stuff, and they stay on some YouTube. So if you are homeless and you are watching this, drop us a line at Beyond Box Reality, and we'll come and get you, and we'll take you to your polling station. We'll make sure that you get there.
You just said Beyond Box Reality with no other context.
Oh, beyondboxreality@gmail.com. My bad. It's in any of our other videos, y'all. Just go to our other
Yeah.
videos.
I think it is.
Make sure you tweet it out. Let's get some eyeballs on this. We had almost 500 people watching a while ago. Let's raise some money for Andrew, man. Y'all, we got to do it. How far are we away from the goal? Somebody put it in the chat.
I have a phone.
Well, you
Just in
look-
case y'all are too slow.
I know that we've raised well over $1,000 today for Andrew Yang. So if we could keep that going, Yang Gang, y'all, if you're gonna donate to Andrew anyway, you might as well donate through our @blue link.
Good job. Okay, we're almost to 1 million. This is where we're at right now.
Come on, y'all. We got to do better than that. We're almost at 1 million. We need another million. We need another million. I think we can do it.
Who's taking selfies?
There's a lot of Yang Gang out there who have not even donated to this campaign yet.
Because only 5% of the population donates to a political campaign.
What y'all gonna do? Are y'all gonna be the change that you want to see in the world, or are you gonna let this opportunity pass? We have the chance to elect a once-in-a-lifetime candidate, y'all. Once in a lifetime. He's so much better than any other candidate that's running. It's not even close. It's not even
I don't
close,
know
y'all.
how everyone doesn't see it at this point. Everyone in the
You
United
have got
States.
to have your head stuck in the sand and drink the what's his name?
What are you talking about?
The dude, leader of the Democrats. What's his name?
Perez?
Tom Perez. You got to be drinking some Tom Perez Kool-Aid to buy any of these establishment Democrats. Get out of here. Elizabeth Warren, go jump in a lake somewhere. I meant a lake in a good way, like a nice
Like go
warm pond.
swimming? Okay, yeah, you don't say that stuff on YouTube anymore.
Man, I can't. I am here for Andrew Yang. I am a lifelong conservative. Yeah, I'm sorry. It comes through sometimes. It bleeds out. I'm a Yang.
Me, on the other hand, yes, I come from the Republican side, but I dislike the Democrats and the Republicans.
Oh, I do too, for
Equally.
sure.
Equally.
For sure. I'm pissed off at all of them, to be honest with you, because they keep talking about passing this and passing this and passing this, and none of it affected my life. None of it. Name one thing that's affected your life. Come on. It does not affect the broke folks except to make us more broke.
Yeah, we heard them on Fox News talking earlier. They said, well, we got better border security, like the stock market's doing great.
Yay for the stock market.
Unemployment's
Most of
down.
us don't own stocks.
Right.
What good does that do us? So what if GDP is up the freaking charge? Who cares?
Yeah, nobody.
That doesn't help me.
No
I can't compete with robot trucks. I can't compete with robot arms.
robot.
It's just crazy, y'all.
Drive now.
GDP is gonna be great. What does that do for us? Nothing. We're still broke. We're still poor. We're still struggling paycheck to paycheck. We're still working 2 jobs just so we can afford to work 1 job.
I think the Yang Gang knows all this stuff.
I think they do too. I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna turn this camera around and I'm gonna let y'all see the crowd that's filed in. There we go.
Unran.
Yeah, so I can unwind for a second. Exactly. Working 60 hours a week so you can eat mac and cheese. What kind of sense does that make? It just don't make no sense, y'all. Why are we struggling so much when we're working so damn hard? It don't make sense. I'll adjust this. Now I'm gonna adjust it back.
Okay.
She's a good girl.
Now you're gonna sing too? Which is fine. I mean, it's lovely.
So, is there any other Democrat in the field that you would vote for? If they got the nomination, is there any Democrat in the field that you would vote for?
Well, let me say this. Hey.
Hey, bro, how are
What's
you?
up, bro? How you doing?
Doing
Hi.
good, man.
Hey.
How are you?
Great. How are you?
Good. Doing all right.
Trying to raise some money for Andrew Yang.
Yeah.
Trying to raise some money for Andrew Yang.
So y'all donate through that link.
Donate
Whoever
through the
can
link.
share it, one of the moderators. So anyway, who would I vote for? Okay. I will tell you this short little story. A few months ago, I had a Bernie supporter send me an email. And I'm not sure why they would try to convince me, knowing I have a YouTube channel dedicated to Andrew Yang. I mean, everything I think about the campaign is right there. You know? So obviously, I'm not moving anywhere. But besides that, the email was so very convincing. I was like, wow, Bernie might be my second choice because it was great. Everything he said in the email made so much sense. It didn't switch, obviously. But ever since then, because of Bernie supporters, and also finding out I don't agree with Bernie on that much, but because of Bernie supporters being so toxic and treating me personally and other people that are not voting for Bernie like garbage. Because of that, I would never vote for Bernie. So,
I guess-
another Democrat that I would vote for, only if they pick Yang as VP if he somehow doesn't make it. But he's going to make it. That's it.
So you're saying you would vote for anybody that Yang's won the ticket with?
Yes, because I feel like
It would leave a bad taste in my
It
mouth.
would me too, but I feel like if Yang is on the ticket, there's a reason. I feel like he can have some kind of influence.
I think
He
you're
might
right.
be able to get a UBI pass, or might be able to get democracy dollars.
Something.
If
You
he
know,
could convince the person he's working with, which he's very convincing, so yes.
and even if not, it sets it up for a hell of a race in 2024. Because you know he's going to run again in 2024.
If he was VP, then he probably would run again in 2028, right? But really, all he's concerned about is fixing the problems. He's concerned with the solution. How do you run against your own president?
Fuck if I wouldn't. I don't know. I think you
can do
can.
that.
Why can't
How are you
you?
going to be like, I can't be your VP
Look,
anymore?
I don't know. I'd be like, look, Biden, get you another VP. I'm about to run against your ass. And that's who it was.
They wouldn't. How many times? Okay, look at the people running against Trump on the Republican side.
Yeah, so you would, yeah, you're right. But I don't think if it was Biden would last that long. He's just,
Biden has already said if somehow he was to win, I feel like Mick Yang is the VP, but he hasn't said that. He kind of did. But he also did say he would only run for one term, and then he'd be out and setting it up for his. So I don't know if something like that's in the works, but Yang's already about to pass Biden anyways, and I feel like he's going to perform better than Biden in New Hampshire. I really do believe that.
I think he is too. Wouldn't that be something? Now, here's a scenario that I wouldn't mind. I would love to see play out. Actually, I would love to see Yang do so well in New Hampshire that it leaves no doubt, and then Biden falter in South Carolina, drop out of the race. Yang pick Biden up as his VP, get the endorsement of Obama then, because then it would happen.
Like so?
Oh my gosh, dude. Dude, you could set up a monster ticket. Trump versus Yang, Biden as a VP again. Biden plays a good role as a VP. He does well as a VP. But Biden is not that leader. Biden is not that, I'm going to take charge. You see what Biden does. Biden's got a glass jaw, y'all. He gets hit one time and he starts chirping. Dog face pony soldier. I mean,
If y'all haven't seen that clip, you can find it all over the internet, where Biden called that woman a lying dog face pony.
lying dog face pony soldier.
It's a John Wayne quote, but
But if you're quoting John Wayne, come on, y'all. You're too old.
it didn't go off into like she
I
laughed.
love John Wayne, okay? But the only John Wayne quote that I can come up with, John Wayne didn't even say. It was the one where he was playing Rooster Cogburn, and that dude looked at him and he was like, "That's bold talk for a one-eyed fat man." That's the only thing that I remember from a John Wayne movie. John Wayne didn't even say it.
That's funny.
And so if that's what you're quoting, I mean, at least Andrew's quoting Lord of the Rings.
Something a little
The
more
Eye of
relevant, something
Sauron.
we all can relate to,
You know.
or at least the nerds in us.
The nerds
of
from
us.
Yang. Hello, nerds. Shout out to Tom for nerds from
Where
Yang.
are people getting drinks?
I don't know.
What's this
They got wine, beer. Oh gosh, somebody out there buy me a beer. Somebody out there buy me a beer, y'all.
Quick.
Quick. I'm thirsty.
I'm really thirsty. Are you thirsty?
I'm very thirsty. I've been talking for the last hour.
I know your voice sounds
Andrew
like-
should be here in like any minute, y'all.
All right, I'll be right back.
So I'm gonna get this camera turned around and let y'all see the crowd. Look at how this crowd has grown. Crowder's getting big, gang. Crowder's getting big. Make sure that y'all tweet this out. Y'all, we had almost 500 people watching a while ago. The more eyeballs that we have on this, the more people that can donate to Andrew Yang. Let's hit that $2 million goal, y'all. I know it's going to be tough, and it's going to be a struggle. But my gosh, let's at least get close. Can we at least get close so that way when he has to extend the deadline another day, you know, we won't have but a hop, skip, and a jump maybe to get there? That would be awesome. If you donate through our ActBlue link that CRT just put in the chat, y'all, that lets them know that it comes directly from the Grassroots Yang Gang channel. And, you know, let's show Andrew Yang some love from our channel. Let's do it. Show him some love. Let's make this goal. At least get close to it. And if y'all are going to donate anyway, you might as well donate through our link. It goes directly to the campaign. We don't see a dime of it, y'all. We do not see a dime of it. If you are in another country and you cannot donate to Andrew Yang's campaign, please consider making a donation to this channel, because every dollar helps us get to these events, helps us talk to these people, helps us get more exposure for Andrew Yang, helps us be able to bring y'all the movie. When we started this channel, we wanted to help bring the Yang Gang who couldn't be at these events a front row seat. And we've delivered. We've done that. We try to bring y'all as many events as we can. I think there are more events later, but we are not going to be able to make them because they are another 2 hours the other way. So if you want to show some love, all of the description.
They don't have much. They don't have much.
Those
Anything.
are awful.
That or IPA.
Oh. Man, what is up with this?
Sorry. Yeah, I knew you wouldn't like the other ones. You're just gonna have to put it up here. Sorry. That's all they have. Unless I might be able to find some water.
I mean, that dude got that candy.
Probably something you don't like. You wanna go ask him if we can taste it? Real quick.
I'm gonna ask the dude at the table next if I can taste this beer.
See if you like it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it. I mean, it is a lot. We'll see.
You liked it okay. You didn't make a bitter beer face.
Stella Artois. It's actually, it feels good on the throat for sure. If you are under 21 and you are watching this, do not.
We do not condone drinking under the age of 21.
Don't even
Unless
really
you're in the
condone it over
military.
the age of 21. Drinking's
so
horrible.
not. It's not good for you.
But I'm telling you what, if your throat is scratchy and you're 21, boy, it feels really good on your throat.
That'll be the last we're gonna wrap.
Sure. Are they expensive probably?
I'm not
Probably.
gonna tell you.
Oh gosh.
Babysitter's not getting paid today.
Jeez.
I'm just kidding, Aunt Corey. Just kidding. We'll
That's
figure
funny.
it out.
Now I gotta know. Do y'all want to know how much that beer was? How much was the beer?
It wasn't bad, okay? It was only $6.
Ah, that's $6 could have went to Andrew Yang's campaign.
I know.
It's going now. That's it. I've been donating an extra $6. Oh god. I'm gonna turn this around for a moment. Somebody got it. Yep. $6.
Maybe they'll donate it to Andrew Yang. I should have told them. Make sure you donate that.
Donate that $6 for that beer to Andrew Yang, please. Y'all, I have been talking all day. We're gonna miss the goal by $6. Oh my God! No,
Don't
we're not.
even say
No, we're
that.
not.
Oh
I
my
promise
God.
you, I will donate $6
I
extra.
will ask everyone in here for $1.
For sure. We'll take up a love offering. That's what we used to call it back in the day when we used to go to church.
Yep.
And family was struggling. We take up a love offering. Take up a love offering for the broke folk, vote. For sure.
Or why? You know what would be really cool? Why don't they do this? I mean, I guess because most people don't carry cash. But I feel like if you're out at an event, you should be like, hey, would you like because they don't really ask for donations anyways. Is that something that wouldn't be cool anymore? I mean, they used to a long time ago, I think. Or they used to take donations for the gear.
Yeah, and I think they still do for like, I don't know, because they've been giving away a lot of shirts too.
What are we looking at? Thanks, Paul. Oh, my friend.
Yeah. So here's what we're gonna do. Y'all see setting up over there? Right? Y'all see that guy setting up over there? That is Zach from the Zach and Matt show.
Where's that Matt?
I mean Matt from the Zach and Matt show. That's what I meant. Matt. That is the competition. Okay?
We're gonna have a friendly competition.
Now that we have our own Act Blue account, where your donations go directly to Andrew Yang, let's show them that the grassroots Yang Gang family can pull in more money than Zach and Matt. Okay? I'm a little bit competitive.
He is.
I'm
About
for sure a little
everything.
bit competitive.
So,
But it's all for a good cause.
yep.
And I want to show them that just because they have 182,000 members,
Millions
subscribers, and they get stuff up yesterday, that they can't push us around because the grassroots Yang Gang family can raise just as much money for Andrew Yang as they can.
But they're not pushing us around. So. He's just dramatic and competitive. But yes, please donate. Donate to
Make
Andrew
sure you
Yang.
donate. Donate. Oh, Mod, both.
The one at
both
10 p.m.?
Yes.
Yang Gang. I don't think we can make the one at 10.
But it's okay because Matt's here now.
He might be there. Maybe.
Matt will be streaming it on the Zach and Matt show, so make sure that y'all tune in to that stream. Show them some love. Definitely, they are working hard to raise money for Andrew Yang too, and we're in friendly competition.
It's a friendly.
We just want to show Andrew that that the grassroots Yang Gang family has his back. That's what we want to show. We want to win, man. We want to win. You play to win the game. Right? You play to win the game. One of the best coaching rants of all time. It is very first question.
This is how Ford was.
All right, how y'all doing
Let's
this
go,
evening?
Yang Gang.
Good. I got two jobs. One job is to kill lots of time when necessary. Lucky you. I don't need that job. He is in the building. Elvis is in the building. Very nice. The second job is to make sure you are properly warmed up in a matter of about 2 minutes so that you can meet the next President of the United States properly jacked up. Real quick. So I'm a Manchester native. I used to be the mayor of Portsmouth. My name's Steve Marchand. If you like state and local politics, the name may have crossed your eyes. Used to be mayor of Portsmouth and ran for governor as a Democrat in 2018. The good news is I made a lot of friends. The bad news is this just in, I did not win. And that means I had more time on my hands than I anticipated I would. And I used an hour of it to meet Andrew Yang. Pretty good choice. January of 2019, 13 months ago, Bridge Street Cafe. 5 minutes in, I knew we were going to be friends. 44 years old, first generation American, father of two, really likes math. Holy crap, that was me. It was in a mirror almost. An hour later, I realized I didn't just make a new friend. I had met somebody who should be the next president of the United States. How do you feel about that sentiment? Yeah. Here's the thing. Tomorrow we got ourselves an election. You may have read about it. And we're going to actually give you the results on the same day that you cast the votes. I did not realize that was novel. But the other 48 states, they haven't voiced anything yet. And we have a responsibility that goes back over half a century actually, to provide some guidance, to provide an opportunity for the rest of the country to see what we're very lucky to get to see on a first-hand basis. We need Andrew Yang to be in a position tomorrow where he can go to Nevada, South Carolina, Super Tuesday and beyond, so that people can see what the face of the Democratic Party and the country can be. For the last 4 years, we have heard too much about a president that represents often the worst of what America has been. And one of the things that I love so much about Andrew is I believe he represents the best of what we can be. An optimistic voice, relentlessly optimistic. He represents a diverse and young and innovative and entrepreneurial and friendly and approachable and data-driven and really funny and charming and earnest face and voice of what America can be, the next generation of our party, of our country. That's what Andrew Yang represents. One last thing I want to tell you. This is important. Tell your friends tonight after this event. Tell your friends tomorrow before they go out and vote. Too many people think you're going to have to choose tomorrow and settle that you can pick somebody who represents a transformation of our economy to move away from the inequality that has ravaged and has also driven us in the arms of Donald Trump. Are you looking for somebody who will transform this economy and rewrite the rules of the 21st century to help all of us? You like that?
Yeah!
Good. And then there are some people that say, that's great, but you can't get that. Instead, just pick the person with the best chance of beating Donald Trump. Who here would like to defeat Donald Trump in November? Some folks say you gotta choose. You really want him to lose. Your hand is still up, thank you. But you don't have to choose. It's a false choice. There's one candidate who lets you have the best chance to beat Donald Trump, who gives us the best chance to transform this economy, rewrite the rules for the 21st century in a way that helps all of us. The good news is, you don't have to wonder who it is, because he's in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, the next president of the United States is right there, baby.
Let's go, Andrew!
Hello, Manchester, how are you? It's great to be here with you all on the cusp of voting. I am so pumped up for tomorrow, where you have an opportunity to push our country in a new direction. You're among the most powerful and influential people in our nation today. I know it may not feel like it. You're just living your lives, checking out the presidential candidates. But I've done the math. Do you know how many Californians each of you is worth? 1,000 Californians each, that's right. So look around this beautiful space. How many of us are together? I'm going to give a Trumpian estimate. There are 7,000 people here. It's the biggest gathering anyone has ever seen. It looks like there are about 200 people here. But 200 Granite Staters is the equivalent of 5 football stadiums full of Californians of voting power. That's the power to do something that most of our fellow Americans can only dream about, which is flush the pipes of our government clean of all the lobbyists and corporate cash that have been running our capital for far too long. I'm actually very, very comfortable here in New Hampshire, in part because I went to high school here. I graduated from Phillips Exeter Academy in 1992. How many of you knew I went to high school here? They had me back to speak last year, and I told them I hadn't been back in a long time because I didn't really enjoy my time at the school. And then the student body erupted in applause. I said, no, I didn't intend that reaction. And after high school, I went to college in Rhode Island, not that far from here at Brown University. Went to law school in New York and became an unhappy lawyer for 5 months. And then I left to start a business. How many of you all have started a business or organization or club or mailing list? You want to raise your hand? Well, if you have your hand up, you know a couple things. Number one, it's much harder than anyone lets on. Number two, when someone asks you how it's going, what do you say? Great. Yes, my business too went great until it failed. My parents told people I was still a lawyer. When I'd been bitten by the bug, I worked at another small company, then another, and then I became the CEO of an education company that grew to become #1 in the US and was bought by a bigger company in 2009. 2009 was a really tough time in a lot of the country. How many of you were here in New Hampshire in 2009? So you remember that time, there was a financial crisis, it was pummeling many, many communities and families. And I thought I had some insight as to why the financial crisis had happened, why our economy had tanked. It was because so many of the wannabe whiz kids I'd gone to Exeter and Brown and Columbia with had gone straight to Wall Street and helped create mortgage-backed securities and financial derivatives and exotic financial instruments. And I thought, what a train wreck that is. That's like the opposite of what you'd want people to do. So at this point, I quit my job to start a nonprofit to help create jobs in Detroit, Cleveland, St. Louis, Baltimore, and other cities around the country. How many of you all work at a nonprofit now? How many of you all volunteer at a nonprofit? You should really raise your hand to that second one. That was like, are you a nice person? And you could be like, I was nice that one time. So to start a nonprofit, the way I did it, incorporated a 501c3, put some of our savings into the organization to found it, and then started calling rich friends with this question: do you love America? And the smart among them said, what does it mean if I say yes? And I said, at least $10,000. So I raised a couple $100,000, grew to the millions, helped create several thousand jobs in the Midwest and the South over the next 7 years. Honored by the Obama administration multiple times, so I got to bring my wife Evelyn to meet the president. My in-laws were very excited about me that week. But I had this sinking feeling while traveling the Midwest and the South that things were getting better, not worse, in so many communities. How many of you are from the Midwest? The South? So you may have a sense of this, where if you cross between parts of our country, you feel like you're crossing dimensions and decades and ways of life and not just a few time zones. But I was still surprised when Donald Trump became our president in 2016. You all remember that night well. How did you react when Donald Trump won? Nausea, tears, bourbon, pasta? I reacted the same way, not that same way, but the same way as most of you, where I said, oh my gosh, tens of millions of our fellow Americans decided to take a bet on a narcissist reality TV star. That is not business as usual. And we all have family members and friends and neighbors who celebrated his victory. Now, we've been presented a whole series of explanations ever since that night to today as to why Donald Trump won. I know you've seen a lot of the same explanations I have. Go ahead and shout out a reason why we're supposed to believe Donald Trump won. Russia. Yes, Hillary Clinton / the DNC. Electoral college, yes.
Media bias.
Globalization of jobs. Electoral college.
Thanks, Obama.
Facebook, the FBI, Comey.
Russia.
Yes, I'm with you on this, sir. We're going to come back to this. But I just want to close this loop. Racism, sexism, fear, misinformation, people giving up, turnout, apathy. These are the reasons we've generally been presented. But I want to come back to what he said. What's your name, sir? So Dave shouted out an explanation that I actually found independently in the numbers. Where I'm a numbers guy, Manchester, I went looking through the data for an explanation and I found it. And it's a lot like what Dave just said. We eliminated 4 million manufacturing jobs in this country over the last number of years. And where were those jobs primarily located? Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Missouri, Iowa, all the swing states that Donald Trump needed to win and did win. And if you doubt this explanation, there's a straight line up between the adoption of industrial automation in a voting area and the movement to Trump in that area. It's one of the strongest correlations you can find. This may be familiar to many of you because the same thing happened in New Hampshire a little bit earlier. We eliminated over 12,000 manufacturing jobs here in New Hampshire, mainly in the northern part of the state. And if you've been to those towns after the mill closed, the shopping district closed, people left, the school shrank, and that town has never recovered. I saw the same thing in communities in Missouri, Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania. And what we did to those manufacturing jobs is now shifting to other parts of our economy. How many of you have noticed stores closing around where you work and live? And why are those stores closing? Amazon's the main reason. Amazon's soaking up $20 billion in business every single year, closing 30% of America's stores and malls. The most common job in the economy is retail clerk. The average retail clerk is a 39-year-old woman making between $8 and $12 an hour. What is her next opportunity going to be after the store closes? We're not sure. How much did Amazon pay in taxes last year? 0. That is the math, Manchester. 20 billion out, 30% of your stores close, most common job disappears over time, and you get 0 back. These are changes you can see around us, the CVS, the McDonald's, the grocery store, but the changes are more pervasive than most of us realize. When you all call the customer service line of a big company and you get the bot or software on the other end, chances are you do the same thing I do, which is you dial 000, say human, representative, until you get someone on the line. Raise your hand if that's what you do. Oh yeah, we all do that. That software is miserable. We're all like, a person must work at this company somewhere, and I will now find that person. But in a few short years, Manchester, the software is going to start sounding like this. Hello, Andrew, how are you? What can I do for you? It'll be fast, seamless, efficient. What will that mean for the 2.5 million Americans who work at call centers right now making $10 to $14 an hour? How many of you all know a truck driver here in New Hampshire? It's the most common job in 29 states. 3.5 million truckers, 94% men, average age 49. My friends in California are working on robot trucks that can drive themselves. They say they're 98% of the way there. A robot truck just transported 20 tons of butter from California to Pennsylvania last month with no human intervention. Why did they choose butter for this maiden voyage? I have no idea. But if you Google robot butter truck, you can find the story. And at the end of the route was a giant stack of pancakes, as far as you can see. I made up the pancakes, but everything else is totally real. What will self-driving trucks eventually mean for the 3.5 million truckers, or the 7 million Americans plus who work at truck stops, motels, and diners that rely upon the truckers getting out and having a meal every day? We're in the midst of the greatest economic and technological transformation in the history of our country, what experts are calling the 4th Industrial Revolution. Chances are this is the first time you've heard a politician even say the words 4th Industrial Revolution, and I am barely a politician. Imagine being an entrepreneur who helped create thousands of jobs in the Midwest and the South, and then realized that your work is like pouring water into a bathtub that has a giant hole ripped in the bottom. That the water is just rushing out faster and stronger. That water rushing out helps put Donald Trump in the White House. Our country does not understand what's happening to it. We're scapegoating immigrants for problems immigrants have very little to do with. When you go to a factory in Michigan, you do not find wall-to-wall immigrants doing work. What do you find? Wall-to-wall robot arms and machines doing the work that people used to do. The simplest way to think about this transition is that the technology, the AI, the robots, are getting more powerful, more capable, and smarter all the time, and we are not. Now, these little guys, they're getting smarter, but the adults in the room, we feel grateful if we stayed the same on any given day and didn't get any dumber. And we can still find our keys, that's a good day. But that's not the way technology is working. Technology is getting more powerful in a way that most of us can barely understand. We're in the most extreme winner-take-all economy in the history of the world right now. And it's about to get a lot more extreme when a lot of these technologies start hitting. So I went to our leaders in DC in 2017. I asked them, what are we going to do to help our people manage this transition? And what do you think the folks in DC said to me when I asked them, what are we going to do?
Talk about it.
Yeah, put the DC hat on, it's fun. Yeah, the 3 answers I got most commonly were these. Number 1, we cannot talk about this. Number 2, we should study this further. And number 3, you heard this one, we must educate and retrain all Americans for the jobs of the future. Raise your hand if you've heard that. Oh yeah, we've all heard that. But I'm the math guy, Manchester. I looked at the studies. Do you all want to guess how effective the government-funded retraining programs were for the manufacturing workers who lost their jobs in the Midwest? You know it's low because I'm anchoring you low. But you also know it's low because you have common sense and you know people. You know if hundreds of manufacturing workers lose their jobs, they don't all march outside and say, I'm here for my coding retraining program, like get me the laptop. That's not the way people operate. The success rates of these programs were very, very low, 0 to 15%. The truth is that almost half of the manufacturing workers who lost their jobs in the Midwest left the workforce and never worked again. Of that group, almost half filed for disability. We then saw surges in suicides and drug overdoses in these communities to the point that America's life expectancy declined for 3 years in a row. Do you know the last time America's life expectancy declined for 3 years in a row? It's a little bit before World War II. The Great Depression is a good guess. It is the Spanish flu of 1918, a global pandemic that killed millions around the world. You have to go back 100 years to find another period in American history like this one, because it is highly unusual for life expectancy to ever go down in a developed country. It ordinarily just goes up because you're getting richer, stronger, healthier. But here in the US, it went down and then down and then down again. When I said this to the folks in DC, one person said something that sent me here to you all tonight in Manchester. He said, Andrew, you're in the wrong town. No one here in DC will do anything about this, because fundamentally this is a town of followers, not leaders. And the only way we would do something about it is if you were to create a wave in other parts of the country and bring that wave crashing down on our heads. And I said, challenge accepted.
Yeah!
And that's why I'm here with you tonight, Manchester. Because you can be that wave tomorrow. I'm standing before you. I've already outcompeted half a dozen sitting senators, governors, members of Congress. We raised $16.5 million in increments of only $35 each last quarter. So my fans are almost as cheap as Bernie's. But there was no corporate PAC money in there. This is an uprising of the people to take back our government and get it working for us again.
That's right.
Because who has our government been working for the past number of years and decades?
Not us.
Corporate profits are climbing and life expectancy is trending down. Which do you care about? If you're us, you clearly care about life expectancy because it's our lives. But in DC, they can't see people in life expectancy anymore. They're just following the money. Washington, DC today is the richest city in our country. Think about that for a second. What do they produce? None of us knows. But business seems awfully good. Donald Trump said he wanted to drain the swamp. Manchester, I want to do something a little bit different. I want to distribute the swamp. Why do you employ hundreds of thousands of government workers in the most expensive city in the country? Why wouldn't you move some of those jobs to Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire? You would save billions of dollars immediately, and I would argue that those agencies would make better decisions because they were living someplace normal and not in the DC bubble where they just talk to each other all day. I'm for term limits for members of Congress.
Yeah.
Our representatives should be heading to DC to do our work and then come home. They should not go and say, ooh, I like it here. Let me stay. And I know how we can pass it. I will be your president a year from now. Thank you, Manchester. And then we'll go to Congress and say we should have 12-year term limits, both houses. But current lawmakers are exempt. Do you think they'll pass that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they'll pass that the next day. They'll say, we do this for the American people. Because it doesn't affect them, like whatever. But eventually they'll lose, they'll get phased out, and we'll wind up with a legislature that actually is much more dynamic and responsive. The biggest problem out of Washington is that corporate money just runs that town. And I'm going to tell a New Hampshire story. I had a friend from Exeter who went to work on Capitol Hill. Good man, best of intentions, said he would never become a lobbyist. How does the story end? He's a lobbyist. That's what's going on in that town right now. If you have money on one side and people on the other, the money is winning every time. There was a satirical headline in The Onion that I thought was really funny, but it was apropos. It said, the American people hire a lobbyist to represent our interests in Capitol Hill. Like, that's the only thing we would get anything done for us, you know? Like the lobbyist walks into the office, I'm here to represent the American people. Stop screwing us, please. So how do we actually get the people and the money on the same side? Right now, 5% of Americans donate to political candidates or campaigns. So if you're in that 5%, pat yourself on the back. You're among the most highly politically engaged people in the country. My plan to wash out the lobbyist cash is to give every American voter 100 democracy dollars that you can give to any candidate or campaign you want every year, use it or lose it. What percentage of Americans would donate to a campaign if you had 100 free dollars you could use? What do you think?
A lot more than
Probably not as high as like, it's not going to be like 90 or 100% because you can't get all Americans to do anything. But if you got it to 50%, which I think is very reasonable, That would be enough to wash out the lobbyist cash by a factor of 4 to 1. Because if you can imagine it, you get 10,000 people behind you to give you their democracy dollars, $100 each, that's $1 million. And then when the lobbyist comes and says, I've got $60,000 for you, you're like, I don't want to touch your $60,000 because they're going to notice and they're backing you. This is how we get the people and the money together on the same side. Now, as important as it is to get the government working for us again, it's even more important to get this economy working for you, your families, our kids. If you're here tonight, you probably know that I'm running on this very dramatic sounding proposal that we give $1,000 a month to every American starting at age 18 until the day you expire. Raise your hand if you know that's what I'm running on. Now keep your hand up if you think that's too good to be true and unrealistic. Yeah, she's like, maybe. I understand completely, but this is not my idea and it's not a new idea. Thomas Paine was for this at the founding of our country. We called it the Citizen Dividend for all Americans. Martin Luther King fought for this in the 1960s. It is what he was fighting for when he was killed in 1968. I know this in part because I met with his son in Atlanta, who said this is what his dad was fighting for. And I have to say the most fascinating part of that conversation was having someone refer to Martin Luther King as Dad. I was like, wow, Dad. His name was Martin Luther King III, so, add it up, but still. Milton Friedman, the patron saint of libertarian economists, and 1,000 other economists, endorsed this plan in the 1960s. It was so mainstream it passed the U.S. House of Representatives twice in 1971 under Richard Nixon. Family assistance plan would have guaranteed an income floor for all American households. And then 11 years later, one state passed a dividend where now everyone in that state gets between $1,000 and $2,000 a year, no questions asked. And what state is that? Alaska. And how does Alaska pay for it? Oil. And what is the oil of the 21st century? Data, technology, AI, self-driving cars and trucks. A new study came out that said that our data, your data, is now worth more than oil. How many of you saw that study? How many of you got your data check in the mail last month? If your data is now worth billions of dollars a year and you are not seeing a dime of it, then where is all of that money going?
Facebook.
Facebook, Amazon, Google, Apple, the trillion-dollar tech companies that are paying nothing or next to nothing back into our country. You have this sinking feeling that there's value leaving your community that's not coming back. You've been right. That is what's happening. What we have to do is we have to reach up and get that value that's leaving your community and bring it back, put it into your hands in the form of this dividend of $1,000 a month. Particularly because after this money is in your hands, where will it go? How much of it will stay right here in New Hampshire? Most of it. Not all of it. You might get your own Netflix password. I had another event, someone was like, never. But most of the money would go right into car repairs you've been putting off, and daycare expenses, and Little League signups, and local nonprofits, and religious organizations. This is a trickle-up economy from our people, our families, our communities up. This is how we balance out the most extreme winner-take-all economy in the history of the world, which is what we're in right now, and make it work for families as well as big companies, for rural towns as well as big cities. This should have happened decades ago. This is why we feel so stretched out. Raise your hand if you're a parent like me. If you're a parent, you've had the sinking feeling that we are leaving our kids a future that is less bright, less prosperous, and less secure than the lives that we have led. Why do we feel that way?
It's true.
Because it is that way. If you were born in the 1940s in the United States of America, there was a 93% chance you're going to do better than your parents did. That's the American dream. That's what brought my family here. That's what we aspire to for our kids. But if you were born in the 1990s in this country, you're down to a 50-50 shot and it is declining fast. That is why the parents feel the way we do. That is why young people feel that like the deck is stacked against you in ways it was not for previous generations. You're right. It is. This is what we have to turn around. This is why Democrats are making a mistake when they act like Donald Trump is the source of all of our problems. He is not. He is the symptom of a disease that has been building up in our communities for years. It is very difficult to be optimistic about the country and the future if you're not optimistic about your kids' futures. Imagine a country where we could look our kids in the eyes and say to them, your country loves you, your country values you, and your country will invest in you and your future.
Yeah.
That is what we can make real tomorrow. This is how we begin to cure the disease. Right now we're being told all the time about how great things are. Stock market prices, record highs. Corporate profits, record highs. GDP, record high. Headline unemployment, looks great. Corporate profits are at record highs. What else are at record highs in the United States of America right now? The debt, suicides, substance abuse, overdose rates, student loan debt, stress, anxiety, depression, the temperature, medical bankruptcy, the debt. You know what are at record lows right now in the United States of America? Starting a business for a young person, getting married, having a child, all the things you'd associate with a healthy, thriving society are at record lows. I know how flawed our economic measurements are because of my family. My wife is at home with our 2 boys right now, one of whom is autistic. How much is her work valued at in our economic measurements?
0.
Evelyn gets a 0. How about every other stay-at-home parent in the country?
0.
0. How about volunteers and activists trying to do something positive in the community?
0.
How about most coaches and mentors looking out for our kids?
0.
Much of the time, 0. Most artists?
0.
Now, one thing we don't talk about, but it's really crucial, Manchester, how about local journalists? We have put almost 2,000 local newspapers out of business over the last number of months because their advertising revenue went up to the cloud. You can't run a newspaper on that. And so now there are 200 counties in this country that don't have any local news at all. What does not function very well if you don't have any local news?
Democracy.
Democracy. Because how can you vote on what's going on in your community if literally no one's covering what's going on in your community? These are the things we're supposed to value the most in our lives, our children, our families, our community, our democracy, and they're getting zeroed out one by one by one. They're getting zeroed out because we've been collectively convinced that economic value and human value are the same things. And if the market says you have no value, then you have no value. What we have to say to our fellow Americans tomorrow is that we all have intrinsic value as citizens, as people, and as owners and shareholders in the richest country in the history of the world. We have to let our fellow Americans know that we and our families do not exist to serve the economy. This economy exists to serve us.
That's right.
I'm not running for president because I dreamt about being president. Those were not the conversations in the Yang household. My parents were not like, you're going to grow up to be president someday. They were more like, you're terrible, clean your room. I'm running because I'm a parent who can see the future we're leaving for our kids, and it is not something I'm willing to accept.
Yeah.
We deserve better, we can give them better, but we're going to have to get out and fight for a better future for them. It's impossible to solve a problem if you don't acknowledge the problem. Instead of pretending that corporate profits translates to how we are doing, we should start measuring our economic progress by how we are doing. Instead of GDP, this century-old measurement that we made up, and even the inventor said 100 years ago, this is a terrible measurement for national well-being, and we should never use it as that. And here we are 100 years later, riding it off a cliff. Artificial intelligence and self-driving trucks will be tremendous for GDP and corporate profits. They're going to be terrible for many Americans. So we have to start aligning how we're measuring our progress with how we are doing, our health and life expectancy, our mental health and freedom from substance abuse, our clean air and clean water, our children's success rates, how many of us can retire in quality circumstances. These are the real measurements of how we are doing, and as your president, I would present these numbers to you every year at the State of the Union. I'd be the first president to use a PowerPoint deck at the State of the Union. If you like that visual, you're like, oh, I should vote for this guy just to see what the deck is. If we had a sense of these measures, we would see we're in a mental health crisis, we're in a wellness depression, we're in a civic engagement and volunteerism depression. All of the measurements of our health are trending the wrong direction, and this is what we have to fix, Manchester. Donald Trump's our president today because he had a very simple, compelling, and powerful message for our country. He said he was going to make America great again. What did Hillary Clinton say in response? America's already great. You remember that? It's been a long 3 years, I know, but it's now coming to an end.
Yeah.
That response did not go over well for many Americans because the problems in our communities are all too real. We have to acknowledge their depth and severity and reality, but then we need real solutions that will actually move our country forward. What were Donald Trump's solutions? Build a wall, turn the clock back, bring the old jobs back. Manchester, you know we have to do the opposite of these things. We have to turn the clock forward. We have to accelerate our economy and society to rise to the real challenges of the 21st century, like climate change. We have to evolve in the way we see ourselves and our work and our value. I'm the ideal candidate for this job because the opposite of Donald Trump is an Asian man who likes math. Thank you all very much for the question. Thank you so much. You may not know this, but math is an acronym, and what does it stand for?
Make America think harder!
Make America think harder, that's right. That's your job tomorrow, Manchester. It's your job to move this country you love so much. Not left, not right, but forward! Just so you will take us. That's the future we will actually be proud to leave to our children. Thank you so much. I love New Hampshire. Thank you. Thank you, all the best. I think we have time for a question or two, and then we're going to probably do some kind of crazy scrum to take some pictures. That'll be like the general plan. So I'm not sure if we have a mic runner. Oh, hey, Shelby.
Who's got questions? I do. Okay. Hello. My name is Christina. This is Brennan. And the question we have is, if you give every American that $1,000 every month, first of all, what's going to happen to the need-based programs like food stamps, TANF, Social Security? And second, what are you going to do to prevent landlords from raising prices once they know that we have more money?
Well, thank you for the question. The Freedom Dividend is universal and opt-in. It's taxed on top of Social Security, and it's taxed on top of any housing benefits. It does not push you out into a range where you don't qualify for any means-tested programs. There are certain means-tested programs it does substitute for. The cash and cash-like equivalent, so something like heating oil subsidy or food stamps, you'd have a choice between the current benefits, which are generally much less than $1,000, or the $1,000 in cash. When I've talked to families who are on means-tested programs, they actually express a lot of frustration that if they get a part-time job or whatnot, it actually reduces their benefits. And this is one way to make it better. Oh, it's a common concern that if people get this $1,000 a month, that prices will go up. I'm going to use a real-life example because it's sort of fun. What's a restaurant that people like here in Manchester, like if you wanted to go out and have a nice dinner? Puritan. Great. How much does dinner cost for one person in Puritan? 20 bucks? Let's say it's 20 bucks. All right, so let's say I'm your president, Freedom Dividend gets passed, you're in a good mood, you're like, let's celebrate. So then you go to Puritan, but instead of 20 bucks, it's 28 bucks. How do you react?
Going down the road.
You're like, what? It's not, you're like, this was 20 bucks last week, what happened here? And then maybe you go to another place, you go to Booba Noodles, which I just had noodles at, which is very tasty, Babu. Anyway. And so it's not like these businesses can stick it to you because you're still price conscious. You're not like, I'm rich, sure, charge me whatever. Like, you're still very value conscious, and there's not a competition for your business. There are only 3 areas in American life right now where the markets are dysfunctional and people are gouging us and just raising the prices. And you know what they are. You mentioned one of them. 1 is housing, 2 is education, and 3 is healthcare. We just keep on jacking the prices up and you feel like you have no choice but to pay. For example, why is college 250% more expensive now than it was when I went to school? Did it get 250% better? No, it did not. So they just keep raising the prices, and then you feel like, well, I don't have a choice but to pay, and then the government says, well, I've got loans for you. So we're up to $1.6 trillion in student loan debt anyway. So I have independent plans to get down the inflation rate into 3 real pain points, which are education, healthcare, and housing. Housing is the trickiest one because a lot of that stuff is local. But we need to invest in affordable housing options. And one of the things I'm passionate about, my wife mocks me for this, but I get very attracted to man caves, where she's like, we have children, we're not going to go live in a shipping container, but I'm like, hey, let's look at the shipping container. It's like there are things we can do to create much more affordable housing options. And one thing I'm passionate about is more communal living arrangements, particularly for single parents. Because right now, 40% of American children are being born to single parents. And I have 2 kids myself. It is so much work feeding and looking after these kids every day, so that if you had communal living arrangements where you could cook mac and cheese on Wednesday, and then all the kids come and then eat it, and then like Thursday someone else is making sloppy joes or whatever, you can actually have more living arrangements that reflect modern reality, because the standard nuclear family is actually not the norm anymore, and we should have housing arrangements that reflect that. So the federal government can invest in some of these new housing alternatives. The biggest thing about having this $1,000 a month in people's hands is that if landlords decide to stick it to you, then a few of you get together and say, wait a minute, there are 3 or 4 of us, that's $4,000 a month. We can actually buy that fixer-upper, we can make moves. You're actually harder to push around if you have this income that will go with you wherever you are. Thank you. I appreciate the heck out of you.
Who would you like as your running mate?
Well, thanks for the question. First, I want to map the path to get there. The number one criteria that Democrats have for the nominee is beating Donald Trump. Very reasonable, right? People who are putting money on these outcomes have made me the heaviest favorite head-to-head against Donald Trump. I'm a 3-2 favorite. The other candidates are at best even money. So why am I such a heavy favorite against Donald Trump? In one survey, 18% of college Republicans said they'd support me over Trump. In another survey, 10% of Trump voters here in New Hampshire said they'd support me over Trump. And you know who's figured this out is Donald Trump. I'm the only person in the field he has not tweeted a word about because he knows I'm better at the internet than he is.
Yeah.
So that's how I get to that point. In my running mate, I would need someone who has a lot of Washington experience and relationships, who can call people on Capitol Hill. The same way that Barack Obama had Joe Biden as his running mate because he wanted someone who has those relationships, I would need the same thing. Because to get things done in DC, you need someone with the right relationships. They know who to call, they know how to get things done. We would need a combination of very experienced Washington hands and people who are from other industries. One of the things I would champion too is that I would appoint people from both sides of the aisle. I think good ideas and patriotism come from anywhere. And many Republicans and conservatives and independents and libertarians regard me as someone they can work with because I'm very data-driven, solutions-oriented. I just want to move the country in the right direction.
The last question.
Hi. Other than the $1,000 a month, what other initiatives do you have to promote entrepreneurship, small business, startups, etc.?
Well, thank you for the question. I've got 160 plus policy proposals on my website, so I know I'm all about this Freedom Dividend, but there are all like a million other things. I'm very, very passionate about small businesses and entrepreneurship. I think that they're the lifeblood of a really healthy community and economy. And it's harder than ever to be a small business person in this country, in my opinion. We talk about it like the internet is somehow this great spur to entrepreneurship. It's really not. 2 generations ago, what businesses might you have started? Hardware store, flower shop, toy store. Now none of those things makes any sense because the internet has taken them all away. And then we act like the internet is going to help you create businesses. You know what the internet's great for enabling? Subsistence labor. Like if you want to sell some tchotchkes on Etsy, the internet's great. If you have something in your garage you need to sell, it's great. But if you want to provide a living for yourself, your family, healthcare, the rest of it, it is not great. So we have to make it easier on small businesses in many, many ways. And this is one reason why I think the well-intended effort on the part of Democrats to raise the minimum wage to $15, I think is overly broad because there are many small businesses that would actually have to cut back and scale back on shifts and even hiring if they had to pay $15 an hour because right now they're paying less than that. We shouldn't act like small businesses are Amazon. You know, small businesses, a lot of them are just barely making it. So I would be for regulations that recognize that small businesses have a very, very different situation and operating environment than the big businesses. And I would want to encourage small business growth in any way we can, expand the SBA loan program. I think one of the biggest things that we can do for small businesses is put money into people's hands, because one of the things I've seen is that there are so many people that have something that they'd like to do that right now don't feel like they have the freedom to give it a shot. And the biggest part of that, even more than this cash in your hands, is healthcare. That right now, how many people have considered switching jobs or even starting something, but then frozen your tracks because you're like, what am I going to do about healthcare? It's so many of us, right? The fact that healthcare is linked to employment is an historical accident. It happened because of World War II. There were pay caps, and then companies were like, well, how are we going to attract workers? I guess we'll offer healthcare. And so we bolted healthcare onto the job, and it makes no sense on so many levels. So the biggest thing we could do to spur healthcare, or spur entrepreneurship and small businesses, honestly, is get healthcare off the backs of families and businesses so that you can move around and know that your healthcare is going to be covered even if you're not doing the same job for the same company. Thank you, Manchester. Let's make history together tomorrow. Please get the heck out of here.
Every time I'm
If
turning
you
the camera
just
around,
stumbled
I'm gonna start
here,
dancing.
you probably did not expect that. If you came in, well,
Y'all don't know nothing about this song.
did y'all notice he went after that $15 an hour minimum wage? I haven't heard him do that yet, so I'm glad he did.
And now he needed to. He definitely need to go after that. This $15 an hour ain't gonna help none of us, man. The minute they pass $15 an hour, they gonna cut everybody's fucking hours. And ain't nobody gonna get any money
And it's gonna
anyway.
hurt, like he said, entrepreneurs. So
For sure. It's not gonna help none of us. The broke folk are still gonna be broke, y'all. Still gonna be broke.
And that also, I'm assuming, I don't know if Bernie's playing all that well, but I'm assuming that would not count towards servers, bartenders, busboys, and girls.
Yeah, for sure. Servers are still gonna make $2.13 an hour or whatever
And
it
that's
is.
$2.13.
Yeah,
$2.13
$2.13 an hour to be a walking billboard and
For whatever
to bust your
restaurant,
ass
yeah.
for a customer and hope that they might tip you. I mean, and you got some people out there who don't tip at all. Y'all tip your servers, man. Tip your servers.
It is very important.
Servers work hard and they don't make shit, y'all.
I do not care if your server kind of sucks, and it's mostly probably because they're busy, but tip them 20% at least.
At least 20%.
At least. That's the lowest you can go. I'm serious.
For sure.
I'm very adamant about this.
And
Tip your servers.
we always tip more because we know how much of a struggle it is, man. The broke folk road is free for y'all. So if you are on this stream right now and you have not donated to Andrew Yang's campaign today, please use our Act Blue link that is going to be in the chat in just a second, because that will go directly to Andrew Yang. It's not come to us. None of it comes to us. It goes directly to
That's a
Andrew Yang's
campaign link. Yeah.
It's a campaign link, but it lets Andrew Yang know that the Grassroots Yang family has got his back and we're supporting it. So y'all make sure that you donate. Let's hit this goal, y'all. We've raised over $1,000. Thank you, Julie, for helping us get a big part of the way there. Thank you so much. She donated $1,000 to our Act Blue. Shout out to you, Dad. Shout out to you. Thank you so much. Yang Gang, tomorrow is primary day.
So we're done for today.
We're done for the
Some
day.
interviews later after everybody's done taking their photos.
Looks like people are starting to clear out.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it with my phone. So
Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, donate to Andrew's campaign. If you got $1 left over, kick it to us. We can sure put it in the gas tank. For sure. Any donation links that you need for us directly, you can find in any of our other videos. Just go and click the little drop-down box.
it's a little triangle.
It's a
if you're on a
triangle.
mobile.
and it'll drop it all down, and then you can donate directly to us. But first and foremost, please
Andrew Yang.
donate to Andrew Yang. Y'all, we would rather take the hit, and we would rather not make any money.
As long as Andrew Yang meets
I
his
mean,
goals.
it's important.
so
It's that important, y'all. It's that important.
Let's do it.
I mean,
Tell everybody you know. Let's do it.
gas money will be there. You know, the universe always
Yep.
works it out for us. Thank you, Yang Gang. We love you. Big day tomorrow. Let's make some waves. Ready? Grassroots Yang Gang.
Grassroots. I finally get to see you guys are like celebrities
Hey,
now,
come
man.
on over here. Say hi to the Yang Gang.
Hey, what's up? David Lee from Boston. Yang Gang is real.
So you came up from Boston.
Yeah. I grew up in Cali. I lived in Florida. I'm temporarily living in Boston.
So now, are you just here to hear Andrew Yang talk, or are you here to?
So basically, I probably watch every YouTube about Andrew Yang, even you guys, right? But I haven't seen him personally. So I'm here for the first time, kind of hear his message out. I know, like, we all memorize his stump speech. But,
fun.
yeah, it is. But it's still, each time you hear it, it's inspirational. You don't get tired of it, especially considering what the other candidates are talking about.
So what originally drew you to it?
All right, so I'm a former Republican, right? Oh, hey. Anyways, the interview that kind of drawn me to him was the Ben Shapiro. I'm a physician, right? And I'm going into primary practice now. I used to train I did 4 out of 5 years of training.
Where are you based?
But now I'm transitioning to primary practice.
Oh, you're videoing. So
And when I heard him about what his views are on primary care, how important it is, that kind of attracted me. And then I looked into his policy and I realized, everybody's in the spirit of Medicare for all. But out of all the policies that I read, he's the only one that could realistically kind of get things done. You can't bully Medicare for all into the system. You have to work with the other side, right? And then compromise. This is going to be a long process because to even change things in a hospital takes forever, right? So to try to overhaul the whole medical system in the country, you can't do that in a couple of years. Yeah. So, what do? You want to bargain before you buy. And that's basically what we need to do.
And one thing that I've noticed about Andrew Yang's plan is he is for universal healthcare.
Yeah.
Healthcare. He's not for the bill that Bernie wrote.
Yeah, you're right. Medicare for all. It's not a bill, but for some reason he was able to name brand it for him.
Right.
Exactly.
But yeah, the journal term should be universal because that's what other countries and nations are.
Right. And I noticed Andrew focuses more on first, initially, we have to drive these costs down.
Yeah.
Because if we don't drive these costs down, then there's no way the numbers.
Like I said, we got to bargain, and the only way they'll bargain is compromise, right? So you got to kind of, like he says, you got to entice them with carrots.
If you had one message to give to Australia right now,
Yang Gang, don't give up, right? We could do this, and donate. We haven't reached our goals yet, so hurry up and donate. I've donated so many times.
we have
No,
to.
the crazy thing is, before Andrew Yang, I was never into politics at all. I'm like, Republican, click. And then, all right, let's see what happens. But yeah, after hearing his message, seeing what's happening in the country, I'm just like, dude, we gotta do something, right? And then even like before Iowa, I was just like, oh, Yang Gang's strong enough, they'll take care of things. And then when I saw the results, I was like, holy crap. Yeah. So I drove my butt out, from Boston, which isn't a lot compared to what you guys are doing, driving across the country. But yeah, we really need to step up. I think the wrong thing to do is, we're so passionate, there's enough passion elsewhere to kind of, substitute my action. So I could just sit here and watch everybody else sit here. But no, it's not like that. Everybody needs to step up, put their feet on the ground, boots on the ground, and make things happen. Because right now, we're fighting against the establishment. right?
Sure.
Yeah, they're trying to silence him, they exclude him in graphics, which is ridiculous. This is my fiance, Dr. Ty. She's a neonatologist. She's
Let me get in here the camera. Let's see if we can all.
Hi. Hey, what is this?
It's
Oh, this
so
ain't.
It's not gonna
this couple is they're the channel of grassroots. Yeah, they like they follow Yang everywhere, like, and they give him coverage and
We're kind of like him. We're former Trumpers,
Yeah.
Republicans, and his vision for America is just. I mean, why don't we all just get along?
No, but
that would be great.
my biggest concern right now is I feel like the momentum of the Yang Gang is slowing down, especially with donations and stuff like that. So I am asking all the Yang Gangers to step up and help out. I know it's difficult and it's a long road, it's an uphill, because we got the establishment and the media that just. I didn't realize how bad it was until I started seeing this.
It's crazy, and it illustrates exactly one of the huge reasons that Trump got elected.
Yeah.
He started calling out fake news.
Yeah.
He started calling out.
And for some reason, I thought it was only Fox, right?
But no, it's on both sides.
It's on both sides.
It's on both sides.
I'm
They're
just
all
like,
corrupt.
holy crap, this whole country needs to wake the hell up.
Well, listen, bro, we appreciate
No,
you
thank you
coming.
for having me.
Thank you
know?
so much.
Yeah.
Very nice to meet you.
No, keep doing what you're doing. It's powerful and it's very important. Maybe I'll see you in Nevada. I'm planning to go to Nevada.
We would like to go to Nevada. Gang, if y'all want to support that,
Donate.
hit one of our donation links. First and foremost, donate to Andrew Yang through our Act Blue account. It goes directly to Andrew Yang. Let's
Right
raise
there,
some
there's the
money.
link.
There's the Act Blue link. Y'all donate. Let's
Donate
get out
to
there,
Yang.
gang.
These guys are good people. Beautiful people.
We
Take
love
care of
you.
them.
We're going to see y'all on the next one.
Have a good night.
Are you guys going to Nevada? You guys are going to Nevada next?
Wait, I missed Andrew.